First of three this year between Columbus and the Ottawa Senators. Now that Columbus is an Eastern team as we get to our starting goaltenders.
Well, for the visiting Ottawa Senators, you got Robin Lehner. You know the story. The record, well, it doesn't appear good, but he has played very, very well, judged by the save percentage. Robin Lehner, first time facing the Columbus Blue Jackets. At the other end, you could say a number two as well. Bobrovsky, the Vezina Trophy winner, has not been playing well. Curtis McElhinney will be in goal. He has also played well enough for Todd Richards to say he will not be our issue if things don't go well tonight.
And right off the face-off, McCulloch slides the puck back to his own line and has to go back to chase it. Steered to the corner. Here's Borowiecki. Clears the puck around the boards, and he takes some contact. Back to the line. Puck is held in there. Back along the boards by Nikitin. Zach Smith trying to tie up his man. Here's Bold in the corner. Mathot comes in. Quick turn back. Out the other side. Mathot takes some contact there from Derek McKenzie. And Ottawa finally gets it out. Here's Smith down to the Columbus line. Carries it in. His shot right on. McElhinney the save. Rebound shot. Another save by McElhinney. Two good chances for Zach Smith off his rush. Puck hops up in the air. Here's Bold. Sends it down to the Ottawa end. Both teams will make a full change now. Just 45 seconds into this game. Carlson lead pass. Down to the line. Ryan, his shot off a leg. Backhander right on him. McElhinney makes the save off that good quick backhander from Clark MacArthur. Let's have a look at our keys to the game. Brought to you by Tim Hortons, official coffee of the National Hockey League.
Well, you're watching this like I am, and you're asking yourself, why don't they play like this all the time? Well, maybe the Ottawa Senators realize that when they score first, they win 3-0-1. And if they don't score first, play like you.
It to the net, and he bowls into McElhinney, and he goes down. McElhinney pops back up. MacArthur now gets back up as he was taken to the net by Jack Johnson.
No issues on a play like that. Now remember, we got the #1 goaltender sitting back in Ottawa when a guy named Nichushkin went in and hit him because Nichushkin went for the front of the net. That's what Clark MacArthur's doing. He was given a little space. He thought he had plenty, but Jack Johnson, the big defenseman, got to him, and then the collision is there. No one gets hurt, and no one's upset about the play.
Spezza turns the puck back to the line, stolen away and cleared back down ice by Wisniewski. Out of the net. Leonard leaves it there for Phillips. Phillips tries to give it to Greiba, but in short quarters couldn't get the pass out of the zone. Back along the boards now. Johansson tries to turn it back topside. Back to the point. Long shot knocked down by Phillips. Back along the boards. Puck is tipped ahead by Zibanejad out to center. Greening to the line. Back in. Spezza cuts back. His shot goes off a leg to the corner. Greening in to get the puck. He's angled off along the boards by Wisniewski. Stays on the puck though. Back to the net. Out the other side. Spezza picks it up. Spezza send it back to the front of the slot. Puck is knocked down, and finally the Jackets get it out to center as the puck is sent back down ice by Cam Atkinson. Shots 3-0 in this game, and right off the bat here we're going to get a little dust up. Kassian and Bowl are going to go.
Now Bowl has not been playing very tough of late. He's trying to stick to the game of hockey, but this is a couple of guys. You remember Kassian playing in the Western Conference, as did the Columbus Blue Jackets. Maybe some history there.
Kassian trying to switch to the left hand. Now they kind of tie up, and Kassian goes to the body. Now he switches, trying to go back to the head again.
Well, anybody who's boxed realize when you start getting hit in the body, the arms come down a little bit. Kassian thought maybe Bowl would bring the arm down, get a shot at the head. And I am not a fight broadcaster.
Bowl and Kassian will go off after their little agreement here to try to punch each other in the face. There we go. Okay, now you try and punch me. There we go.
Well, we'll try and figure out from now on, no disrespect to either player, but we'll try and figure out why that fight happened at this moment.
Because they were there?
I meant in terms of helping your team.
I think it's the same answer. I think it's because they were there.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Both 5 majors off the draw. Shot whistles high and wide of the net from Nikitin. Back in behind the net, Zach Smith. Trying to work the puck away from the Testu. Back up high, tip to the corner. Here's Borowiecki to chase it. Out to center, lead pass. Smith to the line. Christine goes to the net. The shot by Zach Smith goes off the stick, up and into the mesh.
Pro Hockey Life, the ultimate hockey megastore.
You know, you talk about the little things that make a difference. The lost face-off there could be indicative. The Columbus Blue Jackets do that well. They're very, very good in the face-off circle. Top 3 in the NHL for Todd Richards. And that was Zach Smith, one of the better face-off percentage fellas for Ottawa, losing a clean one.
Nice kickback by Grant. Put driving in the shooting lane. He got a good shot off. Phillips now ahead. Conacher to the line. Tips the puck in. Tries to go and chase it. Over to get it first, though. Nikitin. Gets it up on the wing. And now Blake Como gets to center. Tips it down to the line and in. Here's Phillips to get it. Phillips along the boards. Takes some heavy contact from Chaput. Out to center. Puck is floated by Conacher. Back down inside the zone. Picked up there by Nikitin. Ottawa changing. Nikitin back to center. Lead pass picked off in the neutral zone. MacArthur put it too far ahead of himself. It was stolen back by Prout.
I think he got too excited. He read that pass from Nikitin like you and I would read a book.
Back to the point. Carlson snaps one through. McElhinney swallows it up and holds on as the stick is chopped out of the hand of Carlson. Now he is having a talk there with Dubinsky.
I don't know if that's a little gamesmanship or not, but the Ottawa Senators cannot like how long Dubinsky stood in the face of young Carlson. Coach Paul McLean knows all about that. And let's get back to a little bit of what we were talking about in the open. Both coaches making similar statements. Most important game of the season for both teams. All you got to do is look at the standings.
Off the draw, Ryan Murray just gets it back out to center. Jackets trying to get it deep inside the zone, and that'll do it as it's slapped back in by Atkinson. Spezza below the goal line, picks up the puck, steers it ahead. Carlson out to center with it. Here's Carlson. Flips it high in the air into the zone. Zibanejad to chase it. Puts his man into the boards as he makes contact with Wisniewski. Back to the point. Cowan with a shot. Low and just wide. In from the point. That shot is knocked down. Here's Carlson. Carlson turns. Down low to the corner. Spezza tries to one-touch it back in front for Zibanejad. Back out to center. 2 big hits by Greening. There's a quick shot knocked down. Nice defensive play from Carlson. Back to the point. There's a shot redirected in front. In from the point. Puck is put in behind the net. The backhand pass from Umberger doesn't connect with a teammate. Now Spezza back along the boards. Looking for help from Greening. Greening all tied up by Jack Johnson. Back down low. Here's a backhand chance. Spinning shot. Off the post and then the pad of Robin Leonard. Back to the point. Low to the corner. Johansson with a great chance moments ago. They're trying to create another one. Back up high. Quick shot. Glove down by Leonard. The slapper from Como swallowed up as Leonard gloves it and holds on.
Well, the puck is in the Ottawa zone a little too long for comfort. Good shots from the point, gets through, and Leonard really sees it at the last second to pick it up. Right side of your screen, Zibanejad goes to the right, not really anticipating the pass from Spezza. And again, that is a little bit of not having played together very much. Trying to anticipate what your line mate's going to do. That time, he went right instead of left.
Back to the point it comes. Nikitin unable to hold it in. Back along the boards he sends it. And Letestu sends it back inside the zone to the corner. Borowiecki clears the puck ahead. Zach Smith taps it ahead to center, goes to chase it himself, gets inside the zone. Nikitin, Neal. Had him in the train tracks and just missed. Now 2-on-2 back the other way. Wide side, Mathot keeps the angle on the young Derek McKenzie. Keeps him to the outside. Back to the corner. McCulloch puts his man into the boards as Como tried to turn back. Now again below the goal line. Letestu Couldn't make anything happen, and out to center. Zach Smith, end of his shift. Flips it down inside the zone, heads off on a change. Jackets now looking to bring it safely out of their own end. Down to the Ottawa line, and that's an offside call.
This period brought to you by the new 2014 Toyota Camry, our most remarkable Camry yet.
Here's Todd Richards, the coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets. His main concern, they're on a 3-game losing streak. The last 2 games have been against Pittsburgh, but saying to me this morning, his main concern is they only got 19 shots in their last game against Pittsburgh, and that was a home game. He'd like to see a lot more shots directed towards the net. So expect the Columbus Blue Jackets to try and get the puck on net from every direction.
Of course, the Penguins won that game 3-0, but McElhinney actually only gave up 1 true goal to a Penguin in that game. 1 went off a teammate, 1 was an empty netter, and 1 goal was actually shot by a Penguin. So
he earned the win the start tonight.
Down to the line, Turris tried to swerve in around Jack Johnson. Puck is cleared all the way back down ice. Off the bench, Greiba there to get it. Long pass, MacArthur winds, fires, that goes off a stick and deflects to the corner. Now to center, the rink-wide pass gets by everybody as he was trying to get it to R.J. Umberger. Back in his own zone to pick it up. MacArthur turns again, trying to elude Umberger. Phillips gets it ahead, and Grant throws it out to center. His pass, the cross ice one, knocked down, and the puck is cleared back down to the Ottawa line. Swatted up the line and picked up again. Puck is cleared ahead by Greening. And the Jackets again at center. Fire the puck down inside the zone as again Atkinson just wanted to get it deep. Phillips bobbles the puck side of the net, and so Leonard takes care of it by jumping on it and holding on to it. Scoreless in period 1 on Canadian Tire. Senators hockey.
Community Hockey brought to you by Scotiabank. You're richer than you think. As proud supporters of kids' community hockey teams across Canada, Scotiabank wants to hear how your team is impacting or giving back to your community. Tag your stories and photos using hashtag ScotiaHockey for a chance to be recognized on an upcoming Senators broadcast.
All right, thank you very much, Sean. Turris in the face-off circle for Ottawa. And he wins that draw rather cleanly over Anisimov. Former Ranger. And Dubinsky, of course, the primary piece is coming over in that Rick Nash deal. Turris has stood up right along the boards inside the Columbus zone, and several Senators didn't like that, including Bobby Ryan out the other side. Here's Anisimov. Back to the point, he sends it. Front of the net. Puck is loose after it was knocked down on the way to Dubinsky. In from the point, there's a shot knocked down on the way to the net. And here's Turris. Picks it up in behind his own net. Headmans the puck. And now Jared Cowan to center. Goes off the stick of MacArthur into the zone. McElhinney to pick it up, leaves it there. Again, back to center, cutting through the traffic. Johansson down to the Ottawa line and in. Johansson tries to turn the corner. Neal comes over, takes away his ice. Neal falls as he tried to take the puck in behind his own net. Centering pass, and the one-timer doesn't get through. To the corner it goes on the other side. Johansson to chase it. Drops it back in behind the net for Umberger. Umberger sends it in front. It's knocked down by Leonard, and he holds on. And now several people disagreeing with each other in front of the Ottawa goal.
Well, take a look at Brandon Dubinsky, 17, takes a pretty good run at Turris. And you may remember a couple of shifts earlier, Dubinsky, and there he is met by Ryan, Bobby Ryan coming in to help his line mate. Dubinsky, a couple of shifts earlier, stood nose to nose with Carlson and had a few words for him. I think Dubinsky is one to keep an eye on because he is going after the core players who are playing well for the Senators. How about that?
Along the boards, Greiba tries to clear it ahead, wicks off a stick. And the Jackets hold it in as Como fires it back in behind the net again. Phillips coming through. Gravett swinging at a loose puck. Everybody swinging at a loose puck. Finally it comes back out again. Pad saved by Leonard. Puck is still loose. Phillips comes over and drops his man as he puts Letestu to the ice before he can get a shot away. Now Spezza skates it back to safety. Gets to center. Dumps it down inside the Columbus end. Off the board. Swinging through. Jack Johnson picks it up. He catapults back up the wing down to the Ottawa end. Buffett tries to keep him wide. Does. Leonard makes the blocker save. In behind the net. Here's Colin Greening with it. Greening. Lead pass out to center for Spezza. Trying to take it off the boards. Couldn't take it cleanly though. Down low in the corner. Dalton Prout. Right side for Bold. Cassian goes back after him, but he dumps the puck to the corner. Borowiecki along the boards. Sean Collins goes down as Grant tries to go through the middle with it. Gets a second chance out to center. Buffett from the neutral zone fires it along the boards. Here's Grant. Sends it around the other side. Ottawa changing its defense. Carlson couldn't get there in time. Now gets there in time to fire it back into his own end. Bold takes a run at Cowan. And that's when having a big defense is handy. A guy who's 6'5" can roll off a check like that. Down along the boards. To the corner it goes. Carlson turns to deal with his man. As Anisimov wanted to send it back. To the point. Dubinsky just barely holds it in. Back to the corner. Anisimov sends it down low. Gabbard tries to center the puck. Carlson comes in. He's angled off the puck. Here's Dubinsky. Dubinsky back in front again. Quick shot by Leonard. Leonard makes a point-blank save on Anisimov. Out to center now. Turris down to the line. MacArthur back cross ice. Off too many sticks and too many skates. Great idea, but they just couldn't get it finished.
Being unselfish is not always good.
Turris to the line. Spins. Fires it to the net looking for a tip. Back to the point. Drive across to Phillips, but it takes a bounce that brings it back out to center, and everybody has to pull back out again. Off the boards in the neutral zone. To the line. Here's Johansson. Ryan Johansson trying to get around Neal. Neal will not let him pass. Umberger out the other side, back in front. Jack Johnson tried to get a shot away. Here's Zach Smith breaking it back the other way. Smith trying to drive it to the net. Gets tied up by Tootin. Puck to the corner. Puck comes free, and the Jackets back to center again. Turning back in his own zone. Johansson. Penalty call is on the way, and it'll go against Ottawa for tripping way back in behind the net. I believe that Zach Smith may have tripped Tootin on his way to the puck. We'll get a chance to see. Blocker save. Ottawa gets the puck. That brings the whistle. Leonard makes a big save on Anisimov, and he will be the #1 guy on the penalty kill when we return to Columbus.
This period brought to you by the new 2014 Toyota Camry, our most remarkable Camry yet.
Zach Smith in the penalty box. He wasn't happy. I think he felt he was being held going to the net, and this is shortly after. You see that leg, the right one of Zach Smith taking down R.J. Umberger, and so the Senators are now having a kill off the first penalty of the game. First minor penalty, I should say.
Here's MacArthur, picks up the puck all the way down ice, knocked down in the neutral zone as Turris looked to try and break away for a shorthanded chance. No stick now for Jared Count. Back to the box, quick shot. That one goes off the glove of Leonard. Good quick snapshot from Ryan Murray. Here's Murray again. Moves it across. There's another shot, again knocked down by Leonard. Loose puck cleared off the boards, back to the line. Murray can't hold it in, but they can't get it all the way down ice. Trying to catch Ottawa on an awkward change. Murray goes to the wall. Here's Gaborik with it. Gaborik pulls back, drops it back on the other side. Murray back to the box. Gaborik moves in, centering pass. Leonard comes across for the save. Turnaround check from Anisimov, doesn't get through. Here's Gaborik now, back in front again. Anisimov curls it back. Gaborik winds up, fires, blocker save. Puck is picked up by Atkinson. Back to the point. They slide it across Wisniewski. Puck is loose. Phillips Gets it to Grant. Clears it again back outside the line, but not down ice. Grant tries to stay on him. Wisniewski. Back through the middle to Dubinsky. Dubinsky goes to the wing. Gets it back. The shot goes off the shoulder of Leonard. Along the boards. Colin Greening gives the puck away. Goes back to try and help Mathot out to try and dig it out. Does. Along the boards. Can't get a stick free to get on it. Here's Jack Johnson. Johnson sends a shot through. It's deflected. Scooped up by Leonard, and he will hold on. 21 seconds remaining in the power play for Columbus.
When you're down a man and killing a penalty, there are certain things you've got to think about as a skater. You're going to have to trust that your goaltender will get the first shot. There's the first shot. Just don't allow the second shot, the rebound one, where he might be out of position. The Senators have done well to protect Leonard from the second shot.
Off the draw, puck in the corner. Greibe goes back to get it. Near the Ottawa bench yelling as Greibe went down with a Columbus stick between his feet.
It's very early. The referee will not win or lose you the game.
Around the boards, Tootin fires it in. Here's Carlson. Puck hops up in the air. Carlson trying to dig it free. McCulloch to the corner. Spezza now winds up out to center for Jared Cowan. Cowan through the neutral zone. Gives it back to Spezza. Winds, fires right on, and McElhinney makes the save and is forced to hold on. We're back to even strength, still scoreless in period one from Columbus.
Welcome back. Tickets for the first half of the season are on sale now, including the Philadelphia Flyers' first visit on Tuesday, November 12th. For more information, go to capitaltickets.ca. And while I have your attention, make sure to tune into the NFL Thursday Night Football on Sportsnet. Washington takes on Minnesota Thursday at 8 p.m. You can find that on Sportsnet East, Ontario West, as well as Pacific.
All right, thank you, Sean. Back to even strength hockey. Columbus now leading in the shot clock 11-5 after getting 5 on that power play. There's a steal by Spezza, gets a shot away, looking for the deflection from Colin Greening. Greening below the goal line. Zibanejad has it knocked away from him. Now Dubinsky back out to center. Goes wide side. Gabbert stops, cuts back, looks for the late one. In from the point. There's a shot that drifts low and wide as Ryan Murray was looking for a tip. Back out to center it comes. Spezza bumps his way to an open spot. Sends it back. Here's Zibanejad with it. Fires a shot and McElhinney the save. He spits out a rebound. But no white jerseys there to get it. Carlson steals it in the neutral zone. Here he goes. Carlson to the line. Carries it wide. Gets a shot away. Scores! Oh, what a shot from Erik Karlsson.
What a shot. It's just one way of describing it. That is quite incredible because Karlsson, when you figure you'll see the angle, is going wide. And here's what he's doing. He's showing that he's got great confidence, great speed in moving through the neutral zone. But at this point in time, shooting that puck short side in the top shelf is quite amazing, as Karlsson is showing that he loves at this point to carry the puck and is playing much, much better hockey, which will translate into a better game for every Senator.
That was a 1-on-4 as everybody else was off on a change. Space opened up for him and voila.
Now you remember one of the keys, or the keys of the game for the Senators. That should be a penalty right there, shouldn't it? Was to score, excuse me, it was just to score first.
MacArthur, his shot blocked on the way to the net. Back out to center it comes, and MacArthur hustles back to his own end to pick it up. Here's Karlsson now, back to center. This time goes to the wing. Bobby Ryan reaching for it. Trying to get control, can't do it, so he dumps it back to the corner. Ryan comes through, tried to pick up the loose puck back along the boards. McCulloch can't get some control. Long lead pass down to the Ottawa line, but it slides off the stick. Cam Atkinson. And Mathot gets control again. To the line, Neal pops it down inside the Columbus zone. Here's Tootin to get it. Tootin along the boards. Neal catches up, ties him up, puts him to the ice. Now trying to dig the puck free. Off the boards, McCulloch tries to get a shot away. He's cross-checked to the ice too by Jack Johnson. Back to the point. Borowiecki gets it across Methot, looking for the bounce. Tootin clears the puck to the corner. Coming across. Smith puts the shoulder down on Sean Collins and puts him into the boards. Borowiecki clears it back up ice. And we get a whistle, and a faceoff will come back down to the Ottawa line.
Get an oil change by December 15th and get a free gift. Michelin Hybrid Wiper Blades. Get your coupon at MrLube.com.
Well, number 5 on the season. You turn over the puck in the neutral zone. It's always dangerous. But when you turn it over to Erik Karlsson of late, it can be deadly. He has been on a scoring streak. Karlsson has been really hot. 2 goals, 5 assists in the last 4 games coming into tonight.
Neal dumps the puck down inside the Columbus end, heads off on a change. As the Jackets try to get it out in the neutral zone, it goes off escape. Blake Comeau couldn't get up the ice the way he had wanted to. Now he'll try it again as he is taken to the ice. Falls down, and we're going to get another penalty call here. And it's going to go against Ottawa, and the Senators are now starting to get frustrated as Kassian will head off in the box.
Well, I'll tell you why. I mean, this is really not a very good call. And, you know, whatever it is, it's a call in the neutral zone, which makes it a bad thing. Tripping in the neutral zone, holding in the corners. There are areas you just don't get those penalties because it's not productive. But to the defense of the Ottawa Senators, they've seen a couple of nasty cross-checks deep in the Columbus zone that did not call. They were deemed to be pushes.
So second power play of this period for the Jackets. There's a shot and a blocker save by Leonard. That shot came in from Ryan Murray again. Back on the point. Through traffic. There's a shot right on. Another save by Leonard as that one came through from Wisniewski. Here's Wisniewski. Loads it up again. This time doesn't shoot. Back to the box. Murray on the other side. Backhander save is made by Leonard. Puck is still loose. Cleared back to the line, but not out. Wisniewski again. His shot goes off the glove of Leonard. Deflects back out to center. Great pressure from Columbus and unbelievable goaltending from Robin Leonard. Back to the box. Here's Dubinsky. Phillips tries to tie him up. Does. Along the boards. Umberger tries to help out back to the point. Wisniewski drops it back topside. Shot through traffic. Deflects to the corner. Cowan tips it to the corner. And the puck is sent all the way back down ice by Grant. Both teams making their changes. Minute gone, minute to go in this Ottawa penalty kill. Back up ice now. Here's Jack Johnson. Johnson last year with 3 power play goals for the Jackets. They get to the line, but it goes off the skate of Clark MacArthur. Letestu now back to the line. Swings it across and again off a skate, and that brings an offside call as Gabrick came in without control. And a faceoff will come back outside the Ottawa zone.
Well, Craig Anderson is watching. He's saying, I made a save like that a couple of weeks ago. This is incredible as Robin Leonard has been able to handle the initial shots, and the team has taken away rebounds. But here was a rebound, the first one that the Jackets got their hands on. Although Robin Leonard had to twist himself into a pretzel and make that save. Doesn't matter how he made it. He made it.
I believe at the Sydney Olympics they called that the Australian crawl. Back to the point. Johnson gets it across. Letestu back through the box. Couldn't connect. Methot over to get it. Plays it off the boards. Sends it ahead. Deflected to the line and back out by McCulloch. Here's Spezza now. McCulloch tries to jump through the hole. Spezza slides the line. Spezza drops it back to waste some time. Well, the defense is changing. They had to let the puck go. Methot this time just fires it all the way back down ice.
Well, I don't know if it's wasted or not, but certainly McCulloch had a great burst of speed. Had the pass been able to get through, he might have been in.
1 minute of play. Offside the call. Kassian comes out of the box, and we're back to 5-on-5 hockey now. And they face off outside the Ottawa line once again.
Well, half the shots, more than half the shots in this game for the Columbus, 13 on the board now, have come while on the power play. It's a team that hasn't scored a power play goal in the last couple of games. You sure are doing a good job of getting the puck to the net. But the Senators have not allowed but 1 rebound shot. Senators
have allowed just 1 power play goal in their last 5 games. The Jackets are 0 for 7 in their last 3 on the power play. Back in behind the net. Almost trying to get the puck back to the point. They do. Teuton banks one in. It's tipped away by Leonard. Back to Teuton again. Slides it across. Nikitin winds up, doesn't shoot. Back to the corner. Final 25 seconds of the period. In behind the net. Cowan comes in. Tries to angle off Chaput. Now he puts him up against the boards. Cleared back along the boards. Bobby Ryan with a steal. Ryan up the boards. Tips it ahead to MacArthur into the zone. Carlson jumps to the hole. Pass in front. Quick shot goes low and wide from Turris. Here's Ryan back in front again. Scores! MacArthur, bang bang play. Ottawa scores with 4 seconds to go in the period.
What a turnaround for the Ottawa Senators, killing off the penalty again, gaining that momentum, and now scoring an incredibly timely goal. And Bobby Ryan, how is he playing, folks? I'm going to get the puck and move it ahead. Make sure he gets it up top. Nice pass to Turris. He misses the net. So Ryan gets it again. Heady play. No hesitation. Terrific pass to the slot by MacArthur. This line, as we focused on in the open, is really, really playing well. They trust each other. They know where they're going to be. And in terms of responsible, coming in the game, they were a plus 19. Terrific play by the Turris line.
Well, that is definitely the start the Ottawa Senators both wanted and needed, and they got it, and it was well earned. Hockey Central at the intermission, and in studio, former Columbus president Doug MacLean and your host, Jeff Merrick.
Yeah, should be a good one, Dean. We'll break down this period. You know, you won't see Jason Spezza's name beside Erik Karlsson's goal, but the captain's signature all over Karlsson's 5th goal of the season. Also, a closer look at Robin Lehner. Double-digit saves again that period. Sends to Blue Jackets no score.
What you may remember the song "Do What You Do" a long time ago. Well, the Ottawa Senators have done that. Kassian gets in a fight early in the game. That's what he does. Karlsson jumps on a Columbus turnover, gets his 5th goal of the season and the lead for the Ottawa Senators. The all-important first goal. And then near the end, Clark MacArthur, a benefit of strong, heady play by this guy, Bobby Ryan, with 4 seconds remaining in the period. Here's the play. Watch how Bobby Ryan moves the puck. Now he looks up at the clock. How about that? How about being aware? He realizes there's not much time left on the clock. If I get the puck at the net, he finds Clark MacArthur, and all of a sudden it's a 2-0 dominating second period because Ottawa won the fight. They killed off penalties, didn't allow rebound shots, and scored 2 pretty goals.
Well, as Sean told you off the top of the show, former Senator Nick Foligno is not playing tonight. He is not injured, but he's not here for personal reasons. Those reasons are that Nick and his lovely wife Janelle had their first daughter October 14th, Milana, and Milana, a day after she was born, they diagnosed her with a heart condition which could require multiple surgeries. So the family has had a very, very tough go. And here in Columbus, they made it very clear, John Davidson, the president, and Jarmo Kekalainen, the general manager, that everything here is family first. So he is not here tonight. And I can't tell you this for certain, but some of the people are suggesting that one of the, what could be several operations that Milana needs to have may be coming up shortly, and that's the reason for his absence. So thoughts and prayers for all of the Folignos. And I know there's nobody in Ottawa who doesn't wish the family the very best. There is no one who did not like Nick Foligno or his lovely wife Janelle, so we are thinking of you and thinking of your family. Borowiecki drops his man as the Blue Jackets try to squirm and make something happening inside the zone. There's a quick shot off the wall by Como, knocked away. There's Leonard, and in front of the net, Borowiecki absolutely drops Derek McKenzie, who came over and didn't like the hit on his teammate, and probably liked it less as Borowiecki dropped him.
Now Borowiecki, as he brought the emotion that Paul McLean, the coach, wanted. Now you watched him play a couple of games, and there's no doubt he was a strong performer in the first game, now playing in his second game this year. Let's watch how things happen here. Good solid hit, throws him down, nothing wrong with that. When McKenzie gets up, they meet in the front of the net, and I am sure that at that point McKenzie said, I got to do something about it, and you, number 74, I don't know who you are. Now he does.
They will both go off. And one thing that everybody knows about Mark Borowiecki, when he returns to the ice, his demeanor and the way he plays will not have changed one iota. That's one of the reasons why both the coaching staff and management loves this guy. There's a shot. Blocker save from Leonard. Back in behind the net. Gaborik, backhander, paddle down. Save is made by Leonard. Back to the boards. Ryan tries to tip it out. Couldn't get it out. Nice save at the line by Ryan Murray. Back of the net. Here's Big Anisimov. Tries to send it in front again. Paddle down, save. As Leonard just calmly keeps the paddle down and uses that big body of his. And it is a big one. 6'5", 230. And we get a face-off outside the Columbus line.
I'm not sure if Jared Cowan hurt his hand on this play or not, but he certainly wasn't very physical with Anisimov in behind the net. And I say that only because this is a big part of the game that Jared Cowan brought. Remember last year when he first came back from injury? Yeah, I mean, nobody wanted to go around him at all because of his physical play. And he seemed to be favoring a hand there. So I'm wondering if that was the reason why he wasn't a little more physical on Anisimov than behind the net.
Here's Gryba. Sends the puck through the middle of the ice. It slides all the way back down ice. And it'll be whistled down for a face-off back down inside the Senators' end.
The Senators have been doing things right on a number of plays throughout the last several games. And Paul McLean talked about the fact that he focuses obviously on the positives. And you hope that you end up having a period like you did in this first period. So for the Ottawa Senators, this first period has been very good because they got a bit of everything they needed.
Spezza won the draw over Johansson. But then Columbus stole the puck back and got a shot away. Spezza now sprinting down the wide side. Cuts in. Drops it there for Greening. Couldn't get a shot away. And the play is whistled down. And are we going to get a hooking call here behind the play? Yes, we are. And I believe the Ottawa Senators are going to get their first power play of this game.
Columbus penalty, number 18, 2 minutes for hooking.
There's that play by Umberger as he goes to the penalty box. The Ottawa Senators, they were outshot in the first period, but they did a lot of good things, and skating was one of them. And there you see left side of your screen, not a lot of a hooking, not much. But certainly Umberger got the stick across the waist of Greening, and a little bit of a skinny call in my view, but there it is.
Puck front of the net. And the Jackets wind up and fire it all the way back down ice. Tootin does. And so the Senators will have to bring it back 200 feet unless it's stolen away, which it was by Dubinsky. Cleared by Leonard, picked up by Dubinsky, but Ottawa gets it back, and here they come. Carlson to center. Pauses at the line, lets everybody get inside the zone. Gets it to Spezza. Spezza along the boards. Throws the puck in for a tip, but it is covered up by McElhinney just as the puck arrived. MacArthur was decked. Let's go down to ice level, and here's Sean.
Thank you very much, Dean. Make sure you tune into the next Canadian Tire Senators hockey as Ottawa takes on the Florida Panthers. Coverage begins Saturday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find it on Sportsnet East. Regional restrictions are in effect.
All right, thank you, Sean. 93 seconds remaining in the penalty to Umberger. A face-off win by Anisimov makes it an easy clear for Jack Johnson, and he sends it back down ice.
Almost 53% face-off win percentage for Columbus. That is one of their strong points.
Another steal. Puck is tipped out. Here's Anisimov. And there is no chance, even on a half glide, that he is going to beat Erik Karlsson to the puck. So Karlsson now carries it back up ice. Spezza into the zone. Sends it hard around the boards on the other side. Turris works it across. Karlsson takes it off the boards. Rolling puck, had no chance to do anything with it. And again, they clear it back down ice. And asked today about playing forwards. Another giveaway by Leonard. Backhander. Save is made. And then Leonard is pushed into the goal. Back up with it, Johansson. Couldn't do anything with it. Spezza to the line and in. Through traffic. Picked up and cleared back down ice once again. Out to center by Wisniewski. And again, here come the Jackets shorthanded. Dropping it off. Tootin with a shot. Kicked out by Leonard. Here's McCulloch. Back to the line and in. And that's an offside call as McCulloch crosses everybody at the line.
Well, this was as poor a power play effort as we've seen in a while. But then Robin Lehner also right here an opportunity to make the play. Tries to lead Karlsson with the pass and not exactly accurate. And then you turn into a situation where the Columbus Blue Jackets, Umberger, gets a couple of whacks at a loose puck.
Dubinsky to take the draw. Zibanejad with the win. Neal fires the puck in. Final seconds of this power play. Puck is hammered around the boards. Knocked down as Prout couldn't get it out. Back to the corner. Zibanejad below the goal line reverses the puck. Back in front again for Neal to jam away. The puck comes free and out to center. Umberger calling for it out of the box. Can't take the pass. Lehner out of the net. Plays it off the glass himself and nearly put it out of play. Back to the point. Turning to get a chance. Puck is knocked down in front. It's Nikitin. Changed his angle at the last second to get a clear shooting lane. Lehner made the save. Back out to center. To the line. Anisimov carries it back in again. His shot low and wide off the boards. Dubinsky's shot goes off a stick and up into the mesh.
If you've noticed any difference in how Columbus is playing in this period, they have been much better between the blue lines. Todd Richards, had to be on top of them after the first period. The Karlsson goal was a turnover in the neutral zone. He went in and took it on his own unassisted goal. And that is the area that Todd Richards had identified. When I talked to him this morning, I said, what is your biggest worry and concern about what you have done the last several games? Turnovers in the neutral zone is exactly what he pointed to.
Off the face-off, puck slides back out to center. Here's Fedor Tutin. Along the boards, puck is dumped in. Lehner out of the net, steers it back to the corner as Cam Atkinson was flying in there. Centering pass back in front again, but unable to get a stick on it was Johansson. Back the other way. Here comes Zach Smith to the line. Carries it in. Conacher goes to the net looking for the late man. Greiba with a shot. That's tipped by Greening. Back to the corner. Here's Conacher on the other side. Tries to sweep it back to the corner. Zach Smith centering pass. Greening in front. Oh, what a save. McElhinney steals one from Conacher. Back down low to the corner. Zach Smith feeds the point. Here's Greening with a one-timer. That goes off the leg to the corner. Is actually, I believe he hit Jared Cowan. And now we're going to get a cross-checking call here. I believe Conacher was cross-checked into the goaltender, and I believe that's going to draw the penalty to Jack Johnson. We'll have a look and see if what I believe is actually fact.
Well, let's take you to the play before, set up really by Colin Greening. What a play. The puck goes in behind the net. Now Colin Greening will get the puck right side of your screen, number 14, and watch how he plays the puck. Right side, quick pass to Conacher. That was a tremendous save, I think, by McElhinney, as you see, reaching out with the left leg. Very heady play by a group of guys who have not been rewarded for their hard work. Not getting a lot of goals from Conacher or Greening, but that was a super play, I thought.
Cross-checking is the call against Jack Johnson. Ottawa back to the power play. Here's Karlsson now. Senators got but one shot on the power play on their first man advantage. And a power play that did not look very good at all. Side of the net, MacArthur went after a loose puck. Here's Anisimov now. Trying to shovel it out. He does. Send it all the way back down ice. This Columbus penalty kill has had its problems over the last couple of days. Didn't give anything up in the 3-0 loss to Pittsburgh, but they've given up 4 in their last 5 games in total and 3 in their last 3. Round the boards. Ryan knocks it down. Ryan back to the point. Here's Karlsson. Changes the angle. Fires it in. It's deflected away. McElhinney got a piece of it. Turris back to the point. Again, there's a shot, and again, knocked down side of the net. Actually, Ryan was knocked down before the puck arrived. Lehner again plays it back in his own net. Very soon Paul McLean may call a timeout and ask Robin Lehner to not play the puck anymore. To the corner. Here's Neal waiting for it. Neal along the boards. McCulloch this time was knocked down. Puck is chipped by Karlsson back to center. Phillips won't let him pass go, though. 30 seconds to go in the power play. Here's Zibanejad. Carries it to the line and in. McCulloch couldn't catch up to it. Puck is cleared all the way back down ice again by Atkinson.
Tough to log the Senators' puck possession time in the offensive zone with a power play.
Here's Mathot to the line, but Neal on the other side was offside. Let's go to ice level. Here's Sean.
Thank you, Dean. Don't miss any of the action as UEFA Champions League continues tomorrow at 2:30. You can find that on all Sportsnet channels. And for you fight fans, UFC Fight Night, it's Kennedy versus Natal tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Sportsnet 360.
All right. 9 seconds remaining in the penalty to Johnson. Zach Smith will take this draw. Off the draw, it's floated back down ice. Leonard stops it there. Johnson is back up now, ready to return. Back on the ice now. We're back to 5-on-5. Gryba gets it from Mathot, gives it back. Senators managed just one shot on that power play as well. For a total of 2 in the game. Mathot through the neutral zone loses the puck, and now it's stolen back. Greening goes wide side for Zach Smith. Fires it towards the net. Knocked down. Greening in the corner. Can't get to it in time. Out the other side. Puck is sent ahead by Nikitin. Gets some help with Dubinsky now. Turns it back. Nikitin goes to the other side. In full stride. Here's Dubinsky down to the Ottawa line. Dubinsky trying to get around Gryba. Floats it in front. On the other side, it's snapped back in behind the net by Johansson. Around the board. Spezza trying to get there. Couldn't get it out. Dubinsky gets it across. The one-timer doesn't get through. Zach Smith knocks it down and now tips the puck ahead. That hit him in the right hand. Spezza curls back to find some space and does. Zach Smith gets to the bench. Spezza winds, fires and rips it high. Cowan tries to one-touch it with his skate. That fails. Umberger back in front. The tip play at the last second for Atkinson doesn't connect. Spezza back to the middle. Here's Zibanejad to the line. Drop pass, quick shot. That misses high as Carlson went high and missed high. Out to the neutral zone. Spezza with a steal. Goes to the wide side. Carlson turns, sends a wrister in, and that one knocked down by McElhenney. Here's Grant. Back along the boards. Turris shovels it back down low to the corner. Grant now. As it knocked off his stick. And Atkinson out to center. Coming across ice. Umberger driven off the puck by Gryba. To the line and in. Here's MacArthur waiting. Didn't see the things he liked, so he just flips the puck to the corner. Back along the boards now. Puck was shoveled to the line, not out. Gryba with a shot, blocked on the way to the net. Tootin couldn't find a way out on the other side. Puck is sent back to the point, but it gets by Phillips all the way back down ice. Phillips has to hustle back. Taken into the boards. MacArthur comes back, steals the puck, and heads back to center. Goes to the wing. Here's Ryan to the line. Ryan dips, drives, just goes off the glove of McElhenney. That sneaky delivery of his nearly caught McElhenney again, even though he knew the shot was coming.
Very well disguised.
To the corner, Mathot. Back along the boards. McCulloch digs it free. Borowiecki sends it ahead. He and Smith to the line. Puck is dumped to the corner. Back along the boards. McCulloch trying to knock it down. Back out to center. Pass is knocked down. Bold couldn't get to it. Borowiecki just sends it back down inside the Blue Jackets line. It's chopped from center. Back into the zone by Derek McKenzie out of the net. Leonard runs it along the boards, and again, it ends up on a Columbus stick. He might be over in the moving the puck tonight category. On the boards, Mathot. Turned around by Chaput. Back to the point. Cross ice pass. Drifting shot deflected in front. And Leonard makes the save as I believe Borowiecki may have almost scored on his own goal again. A 2-0 lead for the Senators.
Welcome back. On Thursday, the Sens host the Montreal Canadiens at the Canadian Tire Center. Then on Saturday afternoon, the Florida Panthers are in town. To find out how you can be in attendance for both, go to capitaltickets.ca.
Got a message sent to me today that I said that I would certainly do. John Kreitz, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is right now having some cancer treatments in Ottawa. The family's from Pembroke, and his cousin Mike Garreau, who's obviously very close, wanted to send a shout out down here in Columbus. So we will absolutely do that. John, best of luck. Best of luck to the family. Get that taken care of. We'll see you at Canadian Tire Center soon, we hope. Off the draw. Puck is slapped ahead. Zibanejad out to center. Got Greening with him. To the line. Back along the boards. Puck is knocked down. Wisniewski trying to clear it. Tying up in the corner. Getting some help from Johansson. Back to the point. Mathot has to search for it in his skates. Round the other side it goes. On the other side, here's Murray. Banks it off the boards. Down to the Ottawa line and in. Puck is poked across. Atkinson stops, turns. That one goes off the glove of Leonard and up into the glass. Puck bounces to the front of the net. Chopped at the side of the net. And Johansson with a great chance, but the puck didn't settle down for him. Back out to center. Spezza flips the puck down to the line. Not cleanly through. Umberger fires it across. There's a quick shot that misses wide again from Atkinson. Off the board, Zach Smith carries it down to the line. Tipped off his stick at the line. Johansson spun around by Spezza. Johansson fires the puck to the line. Here's Gaborik. Gaborik just lobs it to the corner. Here's a chance up front. Waiting for it. Gaborik delayed and delayed. Off a wacky turnover. Here's another chance back to the point. Nikitin gets pressured. Couldn't get a shot through. Dubinsky out the other side. Quick shot. Leonard makes the save. Puck is loose. It squirts back to the corner. Prout with a big shot from the point. They want to set that up again. Nikitin to the corner. Here's Anisimov to Prout. His shot deflects up into the glass. Zach Smith picks it up on the other side. Carries the puck ahead. Tips it to center. Ottawa flips it to the line and in. Here's McCulloch. Around the other side. Zach Smith trying to get there. Does. Back to the point. Carlson just fires it in.
You need a line change bad.
Back to center. One bad bounce and all of a sudden mayhem in your own end. And here's Turris out to center. Flips it along the boards. Goes to try and get it. Jumps around the check from Bowl. Sends it in front. Along the boards now. MacArthur turns it back. Cowan doesn't shoot. Turns to get around Bowl. Fires it in front. That hits a stick. Bounces high in the air. And out to center now. McKenzie down the wing. Lays the puck to the corner. Jared Cowan goes to get it. Cowan tries to play it back. The Testu was all over him. Out to center. Pass went off the stick and skate of Carlson back to the neutral zone. And now the Jackets try to bring it back up ice. Here's Bowl. Playing his 400th NHL game. McKenzie in the corner. Tried to center the puck. Couldn't do it. Conacher quickly finds the open man. It's Erik Karlsson. Floats it down for Kassian to chase. Back up to center with it now. Here's Ryan Murray. Murray tries to go through the middle. Does. To the line and in. Chaput breaks on. Backside. There's a shot right on. Leonard makes the save as Wisniewski just pounded the puck to the net. 2-0 Ottawa leads, but Gaborik had a glorious chance just moments ago here in Columbus.
He was the greatest goalie of his generation. Now he's trying to rebuild a hockey powerhouse in Colorado. Sportsnet Magazine talks Patrick Waugh and his drive to win. Subscribe at sportsnet.ca/magazine. And for all you basketball fans, the NBA season has returned. So has BMO Raptors basketball on Sportsnet. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Toronto takes on Charlotte. You can catch it on Sportsnet East, Ontario, West and Pacific.
Out to center, here's Neal. Down to the line, carries it in. Puck trickles to the side of the net. McElhinney tips it to the corner. Here's Zach Smith. Back of the net again, Neal along the boards. Kicks it free, Zach Smith. Drags it back to the point. Drive across ice, Phillips sends a shot through. McElhinney kicks it down. Off the boards, puck is banked ahead. Nikitin couldn't get it out. Now the Jackets will get it back to center and fire it down into the Ottawa end. Round the boards. Puck comes off the boards and a quick shot. And Leonard down to make the save. Johansson was right there in a perfect spot. At center. Zach Smith dumps it to the corner. Bobby Ryan goes to get it. Ryan ridden off the puck by Tootin. Flipped ahead, but Turris knocks it down. Off to center now. Johnson headed off by MacArthur. Turns around. Sends it into the Ottawa zone. Carlson quickly ahead. Turris on the boards. Ryan flips the puck in deep for him to chase. Jackets set up a little fence. And now Gaborik out to center. Gaborik down to the line. Throws it wide side of Anisimov. And Gaborik goes to the soft zone looking to get the puck back. Digs it up. Back to the point. Murray now fires it in. Kicked out by Leonard. MacArthur floats the puck back to the safety of the neutral zone. It deflects off of a Columbus player and back down ice. Murray back to the line. Gaborik lines, fires. That one goes off the stick of Carlson and up into the mesh. You're watching Canadian Tire's Senators hockey from Nationwide Arena.
Robin Leonard has come as advertised. He hasn't won, but he's played really well. In this period alone, the Ottawa Senators in the second period outshot almost 2-1. And we've counted 7 very good scoring opportunities for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Only 1 for the Ottawa Senators. So Robin Leonard is doing his job. He may not be handling the puck like a defenseman, but he sure is stopping the puck like a hot goalie.
Now, Twitter can be an amazing thing. It's sometimes acidic and mean-spirited, and that's the part that I don't think anybody likes or enjoys about it. But the other side is you can get some immediate responses from people. Jeff Chambers has sent me a thing on Twitter saying, maybe Robin Leonard is a right-handed shot and just doesn't know it yet.
Very good.
He has played so well tonight. Handling the puck has been an adventure at times, but that's made things interesting and fun to watch.
I've asked Robin this morning, I said, you've never played this team. You have a book on any of the players. He says, a puck is a puck. That was his answer.
He's a bit old school, isn't he?
A puck is a puck. I've just got to stop them. You love the simplicity. That's what it should be. This game is not all that complicated.
On the other side of the coin, McElhinney, even though he was an Ottawa Senator, has never played against the Ottawa Senators, and so this is a first for him as well. Bobrovsky, who did not start this game, has played Ottawa 5 times. That was all during his time as a Philadelphia Flyer, though.
Amazing how the development of one guy from one year to the next. Wins the Vezina Trophy, granted shortened season, but still better than any other goalie in the league.
Dubinsky puts the puck down low. Gaborik gives the puck away. Carlson takes it from him, speeds back the other way. Carlson into the slot, dishes it off. Turris tries to backhand it in front.
Too bad that pass was a little off because Senators need that kind of a rush from Carlson right now. The pressure has been on the Senators this period.
Here's Mathot with a quick turn back. He takes some heavy pressure from Bold as Bold takes a run at him, but a 3-on-2 break the other way. Here's Bobby Ryan, slides the line, gets it across. The shot from Borowiecki misses high.
Thought I heard some iron.
May have.
They have.
We'll double check. May have chimed the iron on that. Here's Borowiecki in behind his own net. You know you're old when, Borowiecki told me, you know, I've been listening and watching you my whole life. You know, that's when you feel old.
I have too, Dean.
Yeah, thank you, Bert.
Local sports on Rogers TV. Your community, your teams. For the most local sports, watch Rogers TV.
You know, French station was René Le Cavalier. The English station was Dean Brown.
Yeah. Yeah, in your youth, right, yeah.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you very much. Lead pass tips off the boards down to the line and in. Turned around back the other way. Here's Johansson. Conacher tries to catch up, does, knocks him off the puck. Umberger turns back looking for the late man. Tootin couldn't get a shot away, and then Grant, who trailed him all the way back to the boards, tipped it back out to center, forcing all the Jackets to come back out.
Oh boy, that is a little mean-spirited without a doubt. I tell you what, I was watching those two battle up and down the ice, and you've got to figure Umberger, you know, he was battling with Conacher. It's Johansson, I'm sorry. But Johansson comes in, and watch that. Right to the face. I mean, that is an intent to injure right there. And the two, Johansson and Conacher, all the way back, were kind of at each other. Conacher trying to follow his check. And as you can see, drew the penalty. Hard way to draw it, but there it is. And
So in your estimation, what would have been the principal point of contact?
yeah, exactly.
Here's Carlson. Slides it across. There's a shot that deflects to the corner. The Senators have had 2 power plays in this game and have managed but 1 shot on each power play. As Wisniewski tries to clear it, held in. Here's Spezza. Gives it back to Ryan. Ryan back to Spezza. Spezza. Cross ice. Tried to get it to Turris, but it bounced up and hit him in the shin pad. MacArthur in front of the net. Back up high. Here's Carlson. Carlson finds Spezza as they try to spread him out. The one-timer doesn't work. Back along the board. Spezza. Ottawa going in with only 1 true defenseman. Ryan with a shot and a blocker saved by McElhinney. And this has gone on for several games now where they play 4 forwards. Turris technically playing a point position, I guess. Here's Ryan, backhander. Save is made by McElhinney, and he scoops up the rebound. And this morning, Paul McLean was asked about it. He said, just trying to get as many of our good players on the ice at the same time and not worry about positions per se.
Right, exactly. Sometimes you worry about a forward taking the defense position. I want to watch 16 and White. He is in there in tough in front of the net. Wisniewski giving him a hit. And here comes Ryan Murray. MacArthur's not a big guy, but he knows there has to be someone in front of the net.
Off the face-off. McCulloch was wrestled to the ice by Feder Tootin. Back to the point. Here's Mathot. Holds the puck in, gets some help from Zach Smith. Tried to feed the point. And Ottawa does some strong work just to keep the puck in the zone. Never mind get a chance out of it along the boards. McCulloch tries to center it. That's blocked. Johnson out to center with Dubinsky. Flips the puck high in the air. Dubinsky going to chase it. Runs out of space. Tries to center the puck. Back along the boards. Here's Mathot out to center. Zibanejad to the line. Waits for everyone to join him. Runs it around the boards. Here's Carlson. Immediate pressure on him from Umberger. Loses the puck. Zibanejad has it end up on his stick. Now it's finally just chopped back out to center and down. Here's Phillips. And again, full court pressure from the Columbus Blue Jackets out to center. Here's Turris. Again back to the line and in. Turris plays it to the corner himself along the boards. Puck comes free in behind the net. Penalty has expired. We're back to 5-on-5. Johansson comes out of the box. And the Senators again managing just 1 shot on their power play. So 3 power plays, 3 shots. Turris to the line. Cutting back. MacArthur has it knocked off his stick in the final few seconds of period number 2. And that will do it. Senators led 2-0 after 20 minutes. No scoring here in the second. Thus they lead 2-0 after 40 minutes from Nationwide Arena. After the break, we'll get you to Hockey Central at the intermission. Stay with us here on Canadian Tire. Senators Hockey. Look at our second period scoring summary brought to you by The Brick. Nobody beats The Brick for furniture, mattresses, appliances, and big screen TVs.
Well, a second period where the Ottawa Senators walked into this period with a 2-goal lead, but were outshot in the period. And the Columbus Blue Jackets certainly had their best period. Take a look at the scoring chances. Power plays not successful for either side. But the Ottawa Senators did get a little better in the face-off circle. They received 53% in the face-off circle of 47 for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now is a key time for Ottawa coming in the third period with a 2-goal lead. Will they hang on to it?
Well, Erik Karlsson with his 5th goal of the year in period number 1. He had the scoring lead amongst defensemen in the NHL before the game and moved 1 point ahead of that. Let's get to Anything for Hockey now, brought to you by Molson Canadian, diehard fan and proud partner of the Ottawa Senators.
You know, we look for the things that players do that is a little out of the ordinary because it's part of hockey. As long as you're on the ice and you do it, it becomes important. Bobby Ryan gets the puck up. Now he looks up. And you know what happens after that? Bobby Ryan looked up to see how much time there was. And by the time he made the pass to Clark MacArthur, there were 4 seconds remaining in the first period. That was the goal that made it 2-0. And Bobby Ryan, anything for hockey.
So as we get set to open up period number 3, the Senators walk in sporting a 2-goal lead. Last year, the Senators 19-1-1 when leading after 2 periods of play. And last season, the Blue Jackets 13-14-3 when trailing after 2. I can also tell you that the Ottawa Senators, now they've only ever played a grand total of 5 of them, but they've only ever won 1 game here in Columbus.
Yeah.
And that was a very, very long time ago. February the 6th, 2002, a 6-4 victory for Ottawa. There was only 2 Ottawa Senators who are still on the team from that game. Those are Chris Phillips and Chris Neal. But there's lots of names that everyone would remember. Playing for Columbus that night, Ron Tugnut. O-line pusher, Heward, Quint, Sanderson, Verborny, Aubin, Deneen, Whitney, Sillinger, Braun, Knutson, Sloan, Wright, Marshall, Kachanik, another former Senator. Jody Shelley, who's now a broadcaster here in Columbus. The pass is tipped down inside the Ottawa zone into Chase it. Bull in behind the net, lets it go. Puck comes back out front again, centering pass. Bull with a shot. Pad save, puck trickles in behind the net. McCulloch trying to get to it. Along the boards, here's Neal now. Neal skates it out to center. Gets to the line, dumps the puck in deep. McCulloch trying to get to it, can't get around the blocking though, as he was stood up on the play by Prout. Puck in the corner. Back to the line, McKenzie gets it ahead and out to center. All alone as the lines change is Anisimov. Down to the line, Borowiecki will not let him turn the corner.
You may want to take that little video and show you what a defenseman should be doing in his own zone. Take the man.
And Anisimov is a big man, 6'4", and still tied up by Borowiecki. There's a shot from the wall by Erik Karlsson. Now he hustles to get back as the puck is cleared out. Down the wing, here's Dubinsky trying to cut in. Dubinsky to the front of the net. Penalty call is on the way as Dubinsky was hooked up in the shooting motion. Back to the point, Wisniewski sends the puck back to the net. Bobby Ryan gets there, gets a hold of the puck, and we get a whistle and a power play now for Columbus. Slashing is going to be the call.
Well, not happy with that is Karlsson. But let's take it back to really good defensive play. McCulloch is going to be the guy right there. Watch how he leans on the stick. He leans on the stick of Letestu so he doesn't get a shot. And you get a little slap there, and Dubinsky loses the puck. And that's why Karlsson's in the penalty box. Wow.
Off the draw, Phillips hammers it around the boards. Wisniewski couldn't get to the wall to hold it in. And with Karlsson off of the box, 2 for the slash. The Blue Jackets back to center with it. Ryan Murray carries it in, breaks on, puts the puck in behind the net. Again, Phillips a chance to clear. Puck is deflected. Spezza gets it out of his skates and gets it back down ice. So the first 2 entries for Columbus fail. Pollock along the boards, just trying to waste some time. He goes down, gets back up, just trying to stay in the way more than anything else.
You know, McCulloch has quietly, in my estimation, started to play much better hockey as well. And he's certainly one of the core guys for Paul McLean. He's done a little scoring, a goal, 2 assists the last couple of games. But boy, has he been strong defensively.
Columbus back in the zone. Grant knocks it off the stick of Dubinsky. Here's Umberger, loses the puck. Mathot tried to clear it, fell down. Here's Zach Smith. Now Mathot again, scrambling in the corner. He gets knocked down, puck in behind the net. They get it back to the point. Now low to the corners. Here's Fedor Tootin now. Big crowd in front, slides the puck off. Dubinsky in front of the net along with Umberger. They go wide side. Letestu with a shot. That's blocked by Phillips. Back in behind the net again to the corner. Centering pass, Dubinsky in front. Phillips gets on him and knocks him down. Tootin with a shot. That's knocked down. Puck is loose. Scores!
Well, possibly the first rebound shot allowed while the penalty killing unit for the Ottawa Senators has been on. And that one while on his knees. Number 18, there you see, Umberger will get the puck past Robin Leonard. Good defensive plays all around. And now you have Chris Phillips with a puck on his stick, wanting to move it quickly, doesn't get much of a chance, and a wild sweep by Umberger gets the puck past Robin Leonard, who, as you can see, is looking for it. And unfortunately for him, finds it at the back of the net.
Jackets now hoping this will give them life. Here's MacArthur trying to snuff that life out. Backhands the puck to the corner. Back of the net. Turris tried to center it. It's stolen away, and back up ice come the Jackets down the wing. McKenzie tries to drive the puck in. His backhander gloved down by Robin Leonard. And then some twisting in behind the Ottawa goal, and some name calling, finger pointing, pushing, shoving, and someone has been crossed off somebody else's Christmas list.
McKenzie, you might remember, got in the tussle with Borowiecki in the first period. And this time MacArthur getting a glove to his face. McKenzie doesn't like it. Nobody likes it. All right, here's something that's very important to keep in mind. The core, the big scorers, they're all scoring. Jason Spezza, goal, 3 assists in 4 games played. Bobby Ryan, again tonight, getting an assist. Carlson, again tonight, adding to the point total. Kyle Turris, again, adding to his point total. But you know what's not happening? This team is not winning. Now they had a 2-goal lead in the second, early in the third. Now it's down to 1 goal. It's a good thing for the big guys to score, but it's a better thing for the team to win. So right now, as part of that responsibility, these guys who've been scoring have got to figure out a way to get their team on the winning side of the board.
The power play goal, Umberger from Tootin and Dubinsky, has made this a 1-goal game. The first goal of this game since period number 1. Both the Ottawa goals coming in period number 1. And Columbus now trying to get back to even in this game as they chip the puck in. Borowiecki takes the hit. Neal comes in to try and help him, but Columbus comes out with the puck back to the point. Big crowd in front. Murray with a shot deflected, and Leonard with a great reaction save. He holds on.
Molson Canadian invites you to watch the game from your Sens Army headquarters. Go to OttawaSenators.com for a list of locations, including these fine establishments.
14 shots on Robin Leonard in the second period. If that is equaled again by the Columbus Blue Jackets, you're going to have the Senators giving up 40 shots in this hockey game. And it's starting to look, with 29 shots, that Columbus is getting the puck to the net.
Centering pass back to the point. Tootin with a shot. He misses low. Puck comes all the way back down ice. Greening rubs Johnson. Puck comes to the front of the net off a stick. Spezza just tried to get it in. Here's a steal by Zibanejad. Comes in. Tried to go blocker's side and missed. Dubinsky now out to center. Dumps the puck into the zone, out of the net. Leonard steers it back to the corner. Out to the neutral zone now. Here's Grant. Flips it along the boards. Kassian goes in to get it. Kassian tries to chop the puck off the stick of Nikitin. Back out to center. Umberger bounces it down to the Ottawa line. Here's Conacher now. Conacher throws it to center. Back through the middle. Grant to the line. Winds, fires. Easily knocked away by McElhinney. Conacher back along the boards to Grant. To the point. Cowan fires it round the boards on the other side. At center. Turning with it. Grant comes across to take the puck away from Atkinson. Dumps it back down inside the Columbus end. Both teams changing. Head to center. Puck is deflected by Boll. Back down inside the Ottawa end. Borowiecki runs it around the boards. Back out to center. Here's Ryan through the middle. Feeds it to the line. Turris can't get it. MacArthur does. His shot trickles just low and wide. Off the boards. The puck is cleared back out again. Another great scoring chance from that line. In the neutral zone. Columbus can't get in cleanly. Here's Mathot now ahead to center. Gets it down inside the zone. Another quick change. Columbus to the line. Here's Boll. Got Letestu with him. Dumps it to the corner. Jared Cowan smeared into the boards by Bowl. Ahead to center. Carlson jumps up into the play. Carlson waiting, and he wanted the one-timer, but it never came as the offside call does come. 1-goal game here in the third. Hardest working Senator brought to you by Marks. Ready for this?
Well, without a doubt, Robin Lehner facing 29 shots, 7 of them on the Columbus power play. You can see a lot of them were in close. Robin Lehner, our hardest working Ottawa Senator, having made 28 saves.
Face off just outside the Columbus line. With Columbus now in the East, these two teams will meet 3 times this year. November 17th, these two will meet in Ottawa, and then back here, final game of the 3-game set will be January 28th, back here in Columbus. And a big season for the Jackets. They pretty much all are now. It's tick-tock, tick-tock. The urgency for something to happen playoff-wise becoming greater each and every year. This team has made the playoffs but once in their existence in 13 seasons. That was in 08-09, and we get a little dust-up just inside the line as Bowl is in for his second fight of the night. This time Chris Neil. Neil and Bowl both swinging at each other. Bowl went down, got back up again. Neil goes down, gets back up again. Not entirely certain how many punches landed between the two of them. It's kind of more flying around than hit. As we read some lips, don't like each other. So this one less about both just being on the ice at the same time and more about actual anger.
Well, before all of this started, you go back behind the net of the Columbus Blue Jackets, and a little bit of a tussle there with Chris Neil and Sean Collins, and then Bowl comes in and talks to him. They talk to one another. Top right of your screen, same shift. Neither one has gone on the ice, and Chris Neil landed a really solid over-the-head right hand before he lost his balance and went down. These are a couple of experienced fighters. Tensions are high, both these teams. You remember, early in the day, both coaches saying, this is the most important game of the season for us. Both teams on losing streaks. Both teams trying to get into a playoff spot.
5 minutes each for fighting, and we get back to 5-on-5. Puck around the boards. Here's Ryan down the wall to try and hack it back out again. Jared Cowan comes across and levels Dubinsky. Puck around the other side. A cutback move by Anisimov. Centers the puck. It's in front. The backhander low and wide. Back along the boards again. Bobby Ryan able to get it out. Now MacArthur couldn't settle down the bouncing puck.
This is one of the rare shifts where the tourist line hasn't really had control of the puck.
Both teams changing now. Carlson waits and now heads up ice. Cowan fires it around the boards. Puck was slowed down. Carlson holds it into the line. Ottawa changing its defense now as Carlson slapped it back to the corner. Here's Zibanejad back in front. Backhander. Oh, what a save by McElhinney. Great backhander from Colin Greening, but a better save from McElhinney.
Colin Greening is looking for a little help. From where he gets it, he doesn't care. But he has not scored but one point on the season, and there was a brilliant opportunity for him with a good backhand. Great save there by McElhinney when they need it most. Columbus Blue Jackets scored their only goal here in the third period, and they are looking for a little help on the back line. McElhinney gave it to him.
Off the draw and back out to center they come. Puck is flipped down inside the line by Sean Collins. Goes to chase it. Round the boards. Up comes Street. Grant throws it out to center and actually throws it into the arm of McCulloch. Back the other way. Jack Johnson flips it back in, but that one whistled down. And they face off back outside the Ottawa line.
I'm not sure I've seen this line before.
This HD broadcast presented by Bell 5 TV. Watching hockey just got better.
Now the line juggling keeps going on, but you got Derek Grant, you got Smith, and you got McCulloch together. Not sure I've seen that combination before.
Down the boards it goes. Picked up on the other side by Johansson out to center. Flips it down to the line. Here's Humberger, cuts in, knocked off his stick by Jared Cowan. Back along the boards. Puck held in there by Tootin. Back to the net. Centering pass tipped away actually by Leonard. Along the boards, clearing attempt. Fails. There's a shot right on again. Cleared to the corner by Robin Leonard. Now off the boards. And Ottawa out to center with it. With numbers. 3-on-2 break. Karlsson goes to the net. MacArthur tries to get him the puck, but it hops off the stick of Jack Johnson.
Well, this is what you call shortening your bench by Coach Paul McLean. He's got that tourist line right back on the ice to try and gain a little control in this period. Columbus Blue Jackets are coming out strong again.
Gryba, Spezza, and now Phillips. Gets to center. Off the boards. Greening first in on it. Greening pinned in the corner by Prout. Spezza wins it back. Greening with a quick turn, tries to take it to the net, knocked off his stick just as he tried to turn the corner.
Boy, that shot on goal, the backhand by Greening, seems to have put a little pump in his legs.
Phillips short stops the puck, gives it to Spezza. Tries to turn it back to center, but instead gives it away. Comes back and foils the entry into the zone by the Jackets as Zibanejad has the stick chopped out of his hand. Senator bench not at all happy with the non-call.
You ever show the Karlsson slashing and then show this one? You can only spell the word inconsistency. That is brutal.
Back to center now. Wisniewski through the neutral zone. Penalty call is on the way. As Dubinsky got wrapped up with, I believe, Zach Smith right at the line, went down, and I believe Dubinsky is going to go off.
Yes.
They're complaining here, but to be honest with you, this is not much of a penalty, but you get the feeling it might be the makeup call for the slash that wasn't called seconds ago. They're going to call this interference for a little pick at the line, but it was a lightweight call compared to the slash that was missed seconds ago. So I suppose in the end, Ottawa gets what they probably deserve, which is a power play out of it.
Well, here's the penalty. You see Dubinsky is really not trying to hit Smith, who comes into him. This is called the interference, but watch what happens here. That's a slash. It should have been called.
So Ottawa goes to the power play now. And same configuration, 4 forwards for Ottawa. And the play is whistled down before it really gets going as the linesman looked like he was going to drop the puck. Brian Pancic then paused. Turris didn't have a stick down. He'll do it again. Along the boards. Here's Karlsson. Carries it across. His shot knocked down in front. MacArthur had the puck, couldn't get a shot away. Comes across ice. And wins the puck back. Strong game tonight for Clark MacArthur. Spezza now. Goes cross ice. MacArthur has it whip off the back of his skates, so Ottawa has to come back out and try again. Karlsson quickly across. MacArthur to the line. Fires it around the boards. Puck comes back the other way, and a clearing attempt is a successful one for Jack Johnson. Back to center. Here's Karlsson to the line. Wheels it off for MacArthur. MacArthur drops it back. Bobby Ryan leaves it for Karlsson. Karlsson plays it across ice. Spezza throws it down low. Puck was tipped by MacArthur. And that gets by Turris back out to center. Bobby Ryan now. 50 seconds to go in the Ottawa power play. Ryan to the line, tips it. Tries to get by his man. Puck is cleared off the glass, and Phillips has to turn back. But it actually hits him in the back, which was fortunate for Ottawa.
Well, Atkins was on his way. He could really skate.
Speaking of really skating, here's Johansson, drops it off. Atkinson with a shot. That's knocked down. Puck loose in the high slot, tipped to the corner. And now McCulloch from back of his own net. Leaves it in Karlsson. Gets it ahead. Phillips at center. To the line. Feeds the puck in. Zibanejad. Back to Phillips. Phillips moves it across. Karlsson walks in. His shot tipped in front. Puck is loose side of the net. Back in front, Carlson, his shot. Save is made by McElhinney. He finds it and covers it.
Carlson has a full 2-minute shift on the power play and gets that final opportunity to score. Now this is where I talked about a little earlier. Individual guys getting their points, but the team maybe not getting timely scoring. These power plays in a third period, if it looks good, that's fine, but it's got to produce. This is where the Ottawa Senators have got to get their timely goals. And in a 2-1 tight hockey game, the production has to be there.
Dubinsky up and ready to return. His penalty expires in 3 seconds, so almost when this puck drops, he'll be coming back out. Back to the point, Mafat loads it up. His shot goes high. Dubinsky is out. Borowiecki pinches at the line to hold it in, and fortunate that he did. Dubinsky was behind him all alone. Out to center, lead pass intended for McKenzie. He was jumping over the boards to get off the ice, though, and didn't realize he was the receiver. To the line, McCulloch ties up his man. Jackets back to the line, drop pass. Dubinsky with a shot, misses high. It deflects up into the mesh. It's a 1-goal game in the back half of the third here on Canadian Tire Senators Hockey. Time now to have a look at our game review, brought to you by the Ottawa Citizen, presenting sponsor of the Senators 2013-14 season.
Well, the points just keep coming for Erik Karlsson. He picks up a turnover in the open frame, gets a goal. MacArthur on a beautiful pass from Bobby Ryan, 2-0, and the Sens are streaking. Here in the third period, you've got a situation where Umberger gets a third period goal to make it a 2-1 hockey game. And for the Columbus Blue Jackets, they had gone a period of 103 minutes and 48 seconds without scoring a goal.
Puck in behind the net, now along the boards, back to the point. Tootin with a shot, that misses high and again goes off the glass and up into the mesh. And Robin Leonard right now yelling at the referee that he didn't touch it. So the faceoff should come outside the line, but so far the linesmen are stationed inside the zone, and Paul McLean is echoing his goaltender's complaints, but Leonard continues to bark at the official, but faceoff is going to be to his right whether he likes it or not. Turris to take the draw. Wins the draw over Chaput. Along the boards, out to center. Here's MacArthur. Cross corners the puck. Turris goes in to get it. He and Tootin along the boards. Bobby Ryan comes in to help. Ryan comes out with it. Here's Ryan bouncing it back to the point. Karlsson does a nice job to hold a rolling puck into the zone. Here's Ryan on the other side now. Ryan turns back along the boards. He is cross-checked face first into the glass. Ryan heads to the bench, and they'll check and see how many teeth are still where they're supposed to be. Karlsson out of the corner with it. Sends it ahead. Here's Zibanejad. Jerry Town, the Senators' athletic therapist, is now down talking to Ryan. Backhander knocked away by Leonard off the boards. Puck is sent back in front, deflected. And now slapped through center, back down ice by Colin Greening. Icing waved off as it also went off a Columbus stick. Greening down to try and win it back. Long lead pass out to center. Greiva comes across and knocks it away and starts the rush back the other way. Spezza drops it. Neal with a shot. Scores! Chris Neal, bullet shot. Ottawa leads 3-1.
Well, maybe he didn't land the punches that he wanted when he fought Bowl, but he landed one of the heavier punches in favor of his hockey team right there. Columbus Blue Jackets may seem like they backed up a little bit, but what happened is when there was a turnover again in the neutral zone, you had the Columbus Blue Jackets changing on defense. So all of a sudden you got a situation where Dalton Proud gets on the ice and quickly has to scramble, but he's back. That's why the Ottawa Senators had so much room getting into the offensive zone, and the beneficiary, a terrific shot by Chris Neal, pass by Spezza.
Spezza continues his point production, now 15 points in 14 games. And Chris Neal gets his second goal of the season. It's a big one. Neal comes in. You're going to get a penalty call here. Neal is now trying to get someone to go with him. He came in and laid a hit, and Neal is now going to go at it. Down along the boards with Prout. And Neal already knew he was going to the penalty box, I believe, for boarding. So he wanted to get someone to go with him, and he's found someone willing to do that. Neal has the left hand free.
He's trying to get that jersey over, the helmet off, so he can land more punches. And I think he knows he's going with a guy who may not be as experienced a pugilist as he is. Prout is he's a willing combatant.
He's 23. He's far larger than Neal, but not as experienced. A 2-goal lead for Ottawa here in the third.
In the penalty box is Chris Neal. Boy, he's doing it all this period. Scored as a big goal. Comes in with a good solid hit. And then Prout, the defenseman. And as we said, not quite as experienced at the pugilist department. Prout playing his 44th NHL game. Fights with Chris Neal, who was basically getting somebody to go to the penalty box with him.
They called that interference. I'm not sure I can give you any more of an explanation than that. They called it interference, and as you mentioned, I think Neal just wanted to try and get someone to go with him, and so he gets Prout off the ice with him. Here's Phillips. Gets the puck to the corner, and MacArthur fires it down ice. McElhenney takes it on the first hop and leaves it there. Suffice it to say, with Columbus down by 2 goals, this is a huge power play for them. To the line, but not in. And Johansson gets the puck down along the boards. Back to the point. Slide it across is Wisniewski. Puts it to his partner. Then it's cleared back out by Turris. Wisniewski to the line. He's stopped up again, this time by MacArthur. I can tell you with that assist for Jason Spezza, Denny, that's the 400th assist of his career.
Good work there by Smith. I'll tell you, both Wisniewski and Ryan Murphy are Ryan Murray trying to make those really thin passes between the legs, and consequently, the Columbus Blue Jackets have been caught in the neutral zone, haven't really been able to get some offensive time while on the power play.
Mika Zibanejad does not play the penalty kill by and large, so he is in the box with Chris Neal to serve Neal's extra 2 for the interference. Off the draw. Back to the point. Tootin with a shot, but Spezza does a nice job after losing the faceoff to get out to the point and take away that shot from Tootin, deflecting it up into the mesh.
You know, you bring that up, Dean, and Spezza made a couple of plays. They're sort of desperate plays. Like this one, you don't like losing it clean, and he really shouldn't. Certainly a better than 50% winner. But there was a turnover also in the neutral zone, and you saw where Spezza dove and sprawled on the ice and got his stick on the puck, so the turnover couldn't turn into something more dangerous.
Here's Tootin. Bobbles the puck at the line. Everybody has to come back out. Throws it cross ice. Again, here's Tootin. And Columbus, like Ottawa, playing 4 forwards on their power play. Gryba comes over to make the hit. Mafat clears it around the boards, and the forward out there manning the point position, Mark Letestu, can't hold it in. 20 seconds to go in the power play for Columbus. Ahead of center, Spezza forcing Gaborik to turn. How quiet has Gaborik been tonight? Carlson comes up, jams his man. Spezza dumps the puck to the line, trying to get back on it, flips the puck back down to the point. Cowan carries on into the zone, back to even strength. It's coming across ice. Jack Johnson took a run at Cowan.
Yeah, Cowan should do something about that. And I'm only saying that because Cowan is trying to find his game. sometimes you've got to do things that it may not be normal for you, but Cowan's got to get a physical element back to his game, a meanness that we saw last year.
Down the boards, puck in the corner. Carlson sends it ahead to McCulloch. McCulloch out to center. Zibanejad dumps it in, tries to head in there to pick it up himself. Wisniewski drops it back, and now Johnson. Lead pass out to center. Couldn't connect with Johansson. Here's Johnson. Turns it back to center. Inside the line. Umberger breaks on, tries to turn back to center the puck. The backhander doesn't get through as Bobby Ryan knocks it down in behind the net. Here's Mathot. Sends the puck ahead out to center. MacArthur to the line. And as he paused at the line, that put Turris offside.
Just a little bit of fumbling of the puck. MacArthur had to slow down, and Turris couldn't. He was flying through the neutral zone. Strong game by MacArthur. As Dean pointed out earlier, course, that line has been really amazing. Game in and game out. They have really been producing and playing very well defensively. We talked about earlier when we mentioned the fact that part of their really good play has been on the defensive side as well.
Back along the boards, Phillips drops it off. Conacher has to fire in, and he does. Cassian along the boards tries to tap it ahead. Puck comes free, and again there's Conacher. Conacher thus far has been the lifesaver on this. Two pucks that could have gone either way. He got to both of them with that little extra surge at the end of his stride.
You need these kind of shifts from the third and fourth line players because it gives your guys a break, a little bit of a break. And late in the game, they haven't had a lot of ice time, so they should have energy.
Carlson with a one-timer. And the puck is tipped away. Here's Smith. Back to the point. Carlson again with a one-timer. Blocker save. McElhinney comes way out to handle it, and he will hold on for a face-off. Well, when we get done, we will get you connected. And here's Ken Reed and Avant Osmak to tell you what they have in store for you.
Thank you very much. Yes, we'll have much more post-game reaction from the Sens in Columbus and a busy night in the NHL in general.
Not sure if you heard or not. Kind of a wild day for Toronto Mayor Rob Ford, and there's a sports tie-in to the whole deal. Dean and Denny.
No, so Todd Richards has called his timeout, Denny.
Yeah. Well, they're 2 goals behind, so with only a minute 28, you often see coaches, if they're able to, they'll call a timeout a lot earlier when you're behind by 2 goals, but I don't think Todd Richards had a chance to do that. So here he will try and map out a play. The other negative is that he's got a face-off in his own zone.
Well, continuing to try and map things out.
Well, you wonder if he's going to get Johansson in the face-off circle. Johansson has been by far the better face-off man in terms of wins. It looks like he's going to go with Dubinsky. Not a bad choice.
Got some options with 2 centers out there. Carlson gets a shot through. It's knocked down.
But in this game, though, Dubinsky had only won 25% of his face-offs, and he was the one chosen to take that all-important face-off. He lost it clean.
Along the boards, down the wall, Spezza comes in. They had a Nisimov out there in case Dubinsky was thrown out, so they had the 2 options. But it is interesting in that Anisimov pretty much had taken all the draws on this line through most of the night, and then Dubinsky's the guy he elects to put in there for the key draw.
17 faceoffs taken by Dubinsky, so you're right. I mean, you would think.
Net is empty. Tootin with a shot. Columbus has pulled the goaltender back to the point. Atkinson sends it back. Across to Tootin. Pass too hot to handle. Takes a bounce. It brings it back outside the line. Here's Tootin trying to carry it back in. Sends it around the glass. 25 seconds to go. Puck comes free. Out to center. Spezza throws it out to center. Carlson chasing it. Empty nets. Erik Karlsson buries it. A 2-goal night for Erik Karlsson as he extends his point lead over all the NHL defensemen with that goal and seals it away. 4-1, Ottawa leads.
He is back, folks. Erik Karlsson is definitely back, and he is wanting more and more. That is the only reason why, with a 2-goal lead and the puck on the Spezza stick, right side of your screen, you see 65 disappear as he smells another opportunity at getting a goal. Don't fault the guy for loving to score. It's great. Had 74 points in his Norris Trophy winning season. He is back, and maybe his team is back as well. A solid victory here and a solid third period for the Ottawa Senators, only allowing 4 shots in the third period.
Spezza gets the assist, his 8th assist of the year, and I suppose could have taken 2 strides, got across the blue line and taken a chance to score himself, but unselfishly gave the puck to Erik Karlsson. Ottawa dumps it in as time expires, and the Ottawa Senators end their 5-game losing streak with a 4-1 victory here in Columbus.
Canadian Tire Senators hockey on Sportsnet. Brought to you by Canada's hockey store, Canadian Tire, proud partner of the Ottawa Senators. By Molson Canadian, diehard fan and proud partner of the Sens. And by Scotiabank, you're richer than you think. Scotiabank.
Well, first win of the year, believe it or not, for Robin Lehner. He has faced far more shots and has played very well this season, but gets his first win of the year, leading his team to a 4-1 victory on the power of 2 Karlsson goals and 2 Spezza assists. And a very strong night by the Ryan Turris MacArthur line. As we have a look at our 3 stars, brought to you by Molson Canadian, diehard fan and proud sponsor of the Ottawa Senators.
Without a doubt, Erik Karlsson, probably his best game after having several good games. But the important part is that he delivers a win for his team. Robin Lehner, outstanding in goal all the way through, particularly second period when they were outshot poorly. And Clark MacArthur, a solid game. The offense with a goal, yes, but also very key in killing penalties for the Ottawa Senators. So Clark MacArthur, the 3rd star.
Once again, the Senators come out with a strong start, and that buoys them through this game. Hairstyles provided by Ronaldo Hair Designs. The Senators host the Habs on Thursday at Canadian Tire Center. Our next broadcast comes up Saturday when Florida visits. 1:30 the pregame show, 2 o'clock the face-off. Now let's get you connected. Here is Ken Reed.